question for all you ladies, and I'm desperate to know this. Well, fellas as well. Well, you know, we'll just sort of bark this one a little bit and see where we go, you know what I mean? Did you ever enter a beauty contest in your youth? Or perhaps, in fact, if you're young enough, you're planning on entering one now. And what was the reason behind it? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Were you nervous? All of that sort of stuff. Because as you know, we've recently enjoyed Miss World. And I don't know about you, I've said before, I've always enjoyed Miss World and all the other regional beauty contests, simply because it's a lot of fun. I've been lucky enough to host a couple myself, and you know, they're just fun. You know, there's no two ways about it. You can mock and giggle and everything all you want, but you know, they do a lot of good. Also, I think it's good for people to interact like that. I mean, there's a joke, isn't there, that all the contestants just want to work with children and animals. But you know, the winners, incredibly, have a very good career. Some go on to be Bond girls, some go on to have acting careers. Others decide that that was just a moment in their lives and they've simply moved on. Either way, it's a memory, isn't it? A good memory. It's amazing to think, though, that a former host, way back from the Miss World competition in 1985 at the Britain's Royal Albert Hall, TV presenter Anne Diamond recently hit out at apparently not enjoying her experience as being a host. Just to correct Anne, she was a co-host with another male presenter, but that, of course, escaped her attention. Always a narcissist, you get the thing? Now, it's interesting with Anne Diamond. As I say, she's had a very long career in and out of the media spotlight. But what I thought was really unnerving about this was on the eve of Miss World, she was on a television programme over here saying that she got asked to go back to be a host the following year for Miss World 1986. But she turned it down on the grounds, her words, that she felt the women were treated very badly, shuttled around and, you know, not necessarily put out in a very good way. You know, how many years later, 40 plus years later, she suddenly decided to reveal this. Now, one might suspect, of course, that she was looking for headlines. What's interesting, doing a little bit of digging, of course, is that that programme was relatively successful. As I say, they were big in the 80s beauty contests. And sort of thing about them wanting her to come back. Well, yes, I'm sure they did, but there was obviously an issue, according to a very well-placed source at the Miss World organisation, regarding fees. So perhaps maybe Anne felt her fee should have gone up, and maybe Miss World decided not to bother putting her fee up and found someone else for the 1986 contest. You understand how this works. The reason I say why I wanted to highlight it, it's funny, isn't it, how all these women of a certain age years later come out and want to deride all these beautiful young girls that are now having a go themselves, and maybe even making people switch off from watching the programme online or indeed in television that it was shown in various countries around the world. And it got me thinking, is she right to say it now, or is it just a case of bitterness, similarly because, you know, many years down the line, as one person wrote on social media, it's all very well her moaning, but really, would she have ever even got in the original lineup? That's a question for you I would put out there. Is it a case of bitterness, or indeed is she now speaking out, and does she have a valid point? I'd really love to know your thoughts on this. I've been honest on mine and said I just think they're great fun. It's a shame they're not simply shown around. And I don't know if you know this, but in the Miss World contest now, there's no bathing beauty segment. That's been wiped out. Now, you know, it's just fun. It's always been fun, should remain fun. Or am I wrong? I'd love to know your thoughts. Was Anne Diamond cruel to say this on the eve of the Miss World competition, possibly losing thousands of viewers who may have tuned in? Or did it not make any effect at all? Let me know. Like and share, and please comment. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.